What's up, everybody? Victor here from Cyborg for Life, and I want to welcome you to episode 78 of Limb Lengthening Live, where the patients get to interview the guests. And today we're just doing a open mic because I didn't have a chance to get a guest today. So if anybody in the who's watching wants to come on, click the link below, which I did not post. Let me actually do that now. Just forgot. So, but anyway, how's everybody doing in the Limb Lengthening community? What is going on? Let's post this. So what we're going to do today is I have some topics. I've been getting questions like crazy lately. So we'll go over those topics and then we'll do a live Q&A and then we'll call it a day. Where is add guest? All right, let me go to YouTube. In fact, how can I do this? Completely forgot. Here we go. All right, so I'll put this in the description. Join live now. There we go. And then I'll put it in the chat as well. All right. Cool. So that link will work for this stream, and then it probably won't work after this. But anyway, yeah, join me if you're interested. Whether you're a prospective patient, current patient, past patient, let's do this thing. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So some of the topics that I've been getting a lot lately is about recovery. Like I posted a video last week about recovery, and I know a lot of people have been asking about it. And somebody sent in a question here, and I kind of copied and pasted it. So this was from Meta, which is Facebook or Instagram. I don't know. They kind of merge in the business side of things. But anyway, so somebody's like, the decrease in athleticism. I've been thinking a lot about this. What I want to know is how much is that residual decrease? Is it that one might need more breaks when walking, running, or anything else? If possible, could you make a video exploring this residual decrease and accurately highlighting the areas of residual decrease that gets compromised as a result of limb lengthening? So it's kind of hard to explain, but when you first start to recover after limb lengthening surgery, your limbs just feel less powerful until you get back your muscle and your strength, right? So for those of you who are going over a certain amount of length, let's say that you're going over 5 centimeters, closer to the 8 centimeter range, you're going to be pushing your center of gravity way up there. So you have to kind of adapt to that balance wise. But there's also a bit of stiffness. So your limbs are going to be, you need to regain your flexibility as well. So there's 3 different aspects of recovery that I always kind of like touch on. One is flexibility, the other one is strength, and then the final one is stamina or muscle endurance. And if you didn't overlengthen and you didn't have any complications along the way, well, then I honestly tell all kinds of, all patients that you should be able to get back to anywhere between 95 to 97%, maybe even 98% of your pre-op abilities within that 2-year time limit. So, so that is usually what it is. So that's the recovery aspect. Let's see. What's up, Ben? I see you in here. Oh, we got a new person. Jarvate. What's up? Hey, I think I talked to you in the Discord. I remember your little photo. Cosmere. Hi, Victor. Please ask about the total expense involved. About the price, we'll talk about that. I'm going to kind of go balance between the topics that I have and then, you guys in the chat here. no Gnail interviews. What do you want to know about the Gnail interviews? I mean, there's a lot of patients out there who have had it, and then, some people like it, some people don't like it. All right, cool. So the next topic is body weight for limb lengthening. So I literally just answered this a little earlier when I was eating, and the guy was asking basically, how heavy should he be, for limb lengthening surgery? And I said, as light as you can possibly be, as strong as you can possibly be. So you want to have a light body weight, but strong muscles like in your upper body, because you're going to need to use the walker, crutches, and kind of pivot and transition yourself from the wheelchair, the bed, PT table, and so on. So, and the shower chair as well. So you want to really have, a jacked upper body and be light in body weight. So lose the fat, get ready for summer, and then get ready for limb lengthening at the same time. All right, what else we have in here? Hey, Vic, do you have a Discord server? Actually, we do. It is probably below. I think I posted all the links below. I copied them over. So check that out. It should still work. If not, just let me know. And a lot of people have been active in there lately. Big shout out to JP. He's been really active in there. A lot of the patients are doing, patient updates and stuff. It's really cool. I think the Discord's growing really well. So is the Facebook group. So correction, Jar is my name. Oh, in my name is not a word. You say the letters Jar. Oh, Vate. Oh, okay. Well, Jar Vate. I like it. What's up? You're an author. Yeah, you sent me your book. I'll try to kind of chop away at that over the spring sometime. So can I send a link? It should be below. So Ben, literally go below this video in the description and it should be there. It should say join the Discord server. I don't think I have it on me right now. All right, next topic. Smoking. So some person in Meta was asking me about smoking. When should they stop? Smoking cessation. So first of all, why is smoking a bad idea? Well, smoking, it's going to affect your bone healing, right? Because bone healing requires good blood flow, and smoking kind of inhibits it. It's a vasoconstrictor, at least in the coronary system, which is like your heart. And I think also in the epithelial, which is like your skin. I don't think it affects muscle, at least, and it's the nicotine in cigarettes at least that does this. But I think that it basically, when you don't have a good amount of blood flow with all the growth factors to help heal your bones, you're going to end up with a delayed union, maybe a non-union. So that's one reason why you don't want to smoke. Okay. There's also research that says that the nicotine can inhibit, like, it's a growth factor, TNF, the alpha version of it, via the cholinergic pathway. But basically, just don't smoke, okay? And he said, how far out should he stop smoking? And I told him, like, at least 3 months, but preferably longer. I say, like, stop as soon as possible. Like, stop now if you're thinking about limb lengthening the next 2 years. So 3 to 6 months is, like, minimal, but definitely stop smoking. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat here. Shiloh, Garkin, what happens to that subscription idea you had? Oh, I think you're talking about the collective. No, that's still on. That's still happening. I gotta talk to a few more surgeons to see if they want to participate. I actually got to text one tonight, see if he's gonna be a part of it. And then once we get that side up, like nutritionist, she's in, physical therapist is in. Members, we should be doing really well with that. And we have a surgeon who's going to be there. So you patients who are going through this and need to ask surgeons questions, it's going to be huge. Like, I think that this is something that like, you think Cyborg for Life is good, and like the information I put out, this is going to be like, you can get your answers right then and there from the experts, like physical therapists, surgeon, what should you be eating, what should you be supplementing with, and other patients. It's like literally actual patients who are lengthening. So I think it's going to be great, but it's going to take time to build up to the community, but I think it'll be good. And then the membership, so it's going to be kind of like, we'll have like a package deal where you can get like kind of individual consultations with these experts and the membership, but then we'll also have just the membership option if you're not interested in that. So you can it'll be like low ticket. So I got it kind of planned out. What else is happening here? Kind of dumb question. What kind of dumb question is smoking in general is horrible for you? Yeah, exactly. Right. Smoking is terrible. All right. So let's answer a question and then we'll go back to the topics that I had, and we'll just chop through these for the next 20 minutes. And if anybody wants to join, the link is in the description below. So, or in the chat. EJ, I'm 16 and I have a bone age of 17. How'd you figure that out? Oh, by the way, let me see. Is my mic on the right one? Testing. Yeah, it's good. All right. Do I have a good chance of still growing? I think the doctors say no, but I believe with a very good stretch routine, I can maybe grow another inch. I'm still in my teen years. Well, the doctors say no. I'm guessing that they're talking about like your growth plates are, closed and they're fused. If that's the case, you probably won't grow, vertically. You might be able to get bigger, like in your torso and stuff from like just lifting and stuff, but it's probably not going to happen if they said that, if that's why they said that. But I don't know. I have to ask you some more questions. So you would probably not grow. All right. Next question. This person was asking, do you get used to the scars? And I said, yes, you do. I mean, we're going on soon 10 and a half years now since I've had mine, and I can still see my scars, but I don't, like, nobody said a thing about them unless you point it out. And everybody has scars, but they're really not that noticeable, especially over time they fade. So I've gotten used to mine. All right, cool. No questions here. The next one is, do you have to pay for the price per limb? And I think what he meant is like, or price per inch or price per centimeter. And the answer is no to that. You pay per limb. So, and usually the tibias are a little bit more expensive than the femurs, just because there's more bones to work with. You have to break 2 bones in each leg. Hold on, why is this thing jumping around? Okay, there we go. I can see this stuff now. And then yeah, so no. Man, guys, this week was crazy. I'm just trying to get my thoughts collected. By the way, that video of the kid who made an amazing recovery I should have it out by tomorrow if I can finish it. I got to get back to the editing on it. I thought it was really, really good. He was a quadrilateral lengthening patient. He did a stature lengthening patient. He did 5 inches. He was 5'2", went to 5'7". He was young. He was like 14, and now he's like closer to 17. It was like over the course of like 2.5 years. And he did incredible. Like, he's back to wrestling on his varsity wrestling team at his high school, and he's killing it. So, all right. Vic, why no interviews with mechanical nail patients, only P2? No, I actually did, Janu. I've asked several Gnail patients to come on, but I think what happens is a lot of them get a little, worried that they're going to, offend the surgeon or whoever they got it done with, if they had a bad, experience with it. And then if they had the good experience, I put the word out there. Anybody can join. You can join right now if you're a Gnail patient. Like, I'm not going to stop you. The link is below in the description. So this is open to pretty much everyone. Obviously, I don't want random clinics joining and saying, "Hey, come to us." We get enough of that. Let's see. Next question or topic that I have here is parents. So, well, this is more of a topic. So, parents for their kids getting limb lengthening. So, this has been really hot lately, like especially in the Facebook group. It's crazy how many parents join that just to kind of find out more about limb lengthening for their kids. I think that, and I've talked to several of them over the consultations. I think that limb lengthening it's a I don't want to say a solution, but it's there. It's an option that's there if you feel like your kid is suffering, especially for a discrepancy. You should definitely consider that, especially if they're young. But if they're just suffering on a daily basis, it's hard to explain, but so it's kind of an individual basis. But basically, for parents, it's something that you can consider if the kid is kind of struggling with their height and they're getting picked on, or they're going into college and or high school or whatever it is, and they're done growing and they're really super short. A lot of kids are going to face social ridicule, and I think that stature lengthening, if done safely with a good surgeon and you're there as support, they can turn out really well. Like, as the case we're going to see tomorrow, the kid who was wrestling, his father, who I've interviewed on this channel before, was huge on his support network. So yeah. All right, so that's all the topics that I had that I wanted to talk about. So we'll answer any live Q&A questions, and then we'll bounce if nobody kind of joins to the chat here. What do we have? Scars don't scare me. I have my tongue, as a matter of fact. I have one on my tongue. Okay. EJ, do you believe that an increase in estrogen can lead to premature epiphyseal growth plate closure? So senescence, yeah, I think definitely hormonal. It can be hormonal, can impact that for sure, because growth hormone is one thing, but I don't know the implications between and interactions between estrogen and growth hormone. I know there's cortisol. There's a lot of different interactions, so you'd have to kind of look it up and research. But yeah, if you have high estrogen, but I think you're pretty young, so you shouldn't be if you're that young and you're healthy. You're going to sleep and eating your food and playing outside like any good kid should. Oh, let's see. I'm just trying to click on it. Here we go. DJ Cyborg, what's up, man? I know you're having your surgery later this year, so getting ready for that. Since human bone density continues until about age 30, does that mean that people under the age of 30 heal faster? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know what the data says on that. I'd have to look into some research, but it's possible. It's very possible. I mean, yeah, the younger you are, the more likely you're going to heal. Like when I got this done in my early 20s, I healed really, really fast, especially in the tibia, but it really does depend on multiple factors, like so many different things. So trying to read some questions in here. You guys have any questions General questions. There are puberty blockers prescribed to people with early puberty to slow bone maturity. Huh. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Oh, Seppo, what's up? It's 2 a.m. in Africa. I can't miss your live. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You are a day one supporter. Remember, I think you were episode number 3 in the podcast back when I just did a podcast. Now I'm lazy and I just, copy over the Limb Lengthening live, but that's awesome. All right, so I see 2 questions on this right now, so I guess we can talk about this. You guys are really asking about this. Hey, Vic, what do you think about Live Life Taller channel? I think they're doing a great job at promoting limb lengthening to the masses by doing videos with their patients. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that they're promoting the procedure to patients and stuff, and that's a phenomenal marketing tactic. I mean, that's what I'm doing here in Cyborg for Life. Obviously, I'm no surgeon and I don't have a clinic where I'm operating on patients that I can showcase amazing results from. And I'm not saying that the results are amazing. I'm just saying that my results would be amazing. Cyborgs would be roaming me out. But I think that at the same time, it's like, let's be transparent, because I know that a lot of patients from clinics from all over the world are not going to all have successful outcomes. They can say that they do, but there's always going to be people who have delayed unions. There's going to be, people with non-unions, nerve issues, muscle stiffness and contractures. So it's like, sure, show the good, but also kind of be like, for example, there was going to be somebody who comes on, I think he had knock knees or something like that. He recently emailed me and he said he had knock knees and he wanted to come on and talk about it. And he's considering going to another clinic to get it corrected. I'm like, you just got limb lengthening done and now you got to get it corrected. So, and I think it was at one of these clinics that you're talking about, but it just shows you that picking a good surgeon is key, because a good surgeon is like a chess player. They watch out for things down the line. They're not just playing and reacting to what happens. They're predicting it. Okay. That's what we talk about in terms of being a good surgeon experience, because they know what to look out for. So that's why you want to kind of be careful with that. So it comes with experience, but also this is something that you kind of have to be good at this. Like, you got to pick up on it. So you can be a surgeon for many years, but if you just get in and you don't continue to learn, or, learn from your experience and, life lessons, then you're going to end up with bad patients all the time. So it's like flipping a coin. Dr. Betts has retired and there's another surgeon operating. Any thoughts? Oh yeah, Dr. Becker, that's who you're talking about. Yeah, a lot of people have been emailing me about him. I I haven't looked too deep into that. I've been busy with other things, but I don't know. Like, I'd have to kind of look deeper into that. So find out how. I think people have showed interest, but I wonder if that's more for the weight bearing nail that they have, or if it's from the surgeon. So we'll have to find out more information on that. And people were telling me to email him and interview him and stuff. So I'll probably wait for surgeon interviews and stuff for a little while, because I need to get the service out, and then there's a lot of other things that I'm working on. Jacob Riley, is there an easy way to locate your IT band? I'm 17 millimeters in and super tight around the area, even though I had my IT band released. I want to see if it is my IT band or something, or just my hamstring. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can definitely palpate your IT band, especially in the distal portion. If you extend your knee straight, and if you have a decent amount of muscle, you're still within 17 millimeters. That's only like a couple weeks in. So you should have enough muscle mass that you can kind of extend your knee, flex your muscle, and you can kind of feel this rigid, hard fascia structure on the lateral portion of your quadriceps near your knee. That is your IT band. If it was released, it should be sore and tender, and you should probably have an incision there. If not, then you probably didn't get it released, and that's something that probably should have been done, but can still be done. So, yeah, that's like a prophylactic measure that should have been taken. Hello, Vic. Hand pink waving. Oh, that's an emoji. That's funny. Benjamin, what is up? If there is any server complications to the bone while lengthening, do you have to afford money just to fix that it depends. So if it's patient related, if it's your fault, then yeah, they're going to ask for that you at least pay for that portion of it. But if it's like, let's say, device malfunction or the surgeon's issue, they'll usually try to clean it up so that it's not going to run on their reputation. So it depends on what type of complication it is. but definitely have a complication fund saved up for this procedure. Absolutely. You're talking to people. Yeah. Yeah, the LON. I actually put out a short this week talking about why I'm not a fan of the LON. And look, I know people are saying, well, what if it's done with a good doctor that does a lot of them? It doesn't matter. The LON, you're going to have less flexibility or less range of motion because it's a big, bulky frame. Two, it's like you're going to have deeper, bad, worse scarring. And then three is a possible chance of infection. I mean, it's just fact. It doesn't matter who you get it with. It's like you're going to almost guarantee yourself that you're going to have to take a course of antibiotics to deal with the skin site infections. So Fate actually talked a little bit about smoking before surgery. It should be earlier in the chat, so you can always rewind back. But basically, you want to stop because it does inhibit blood flow, which you need for bone healing. So smoking can slow your bone healing for limb lengthening. So you definitely don't want to do that. In fact, if a surgeon finds out you are doing it, they're not going to operate on you. Yeah. Also, best surgeon. Everybody tries to put me on point. Well, I'm not going to answer that publicly. We're hoping to, if everybody agrees to this thing, then we can get a list of people, my dream team, essentially. But we'll see. Seppo, yes, that's right. Still saving up. We'll definitely be getting the surgery in the future. Your videos keep me motivated. We truly appreciate the info we learned from you. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Seriously, it's been years and you're striving at it. Thoughts on unilateral cosmetic lengthening. So we actually had a patient on last week that did that exact thing. He actually did a unilateral, quadrilateral cosmetic lengthening. So check that out. It was last week's live, I think 77. It's the whole episode. Michael, he came on and gave a really good talk about that. All right, guys. So not a whole lot of stuff going on today. We don't have any guests joining, so we'll probably wrap it up here shortly. Please ask about the total expense involved. So, okay. So if you're getting cosmetic stature lengthening done in the United States, you're looking at least, I say, 70 to 75,000 as, like, let's say the lower limit, and then up to like 130,000, right? So that's the range you're looking at in the US right now with the current technology and the surgeons that are performing it. European clinics, you're probably going to look at like maybe I don't know, like actually probably like in that range of like 55 to about 95,000 euros. So that's probably a lesser range. But again, you want to watch for like really good patient results, because not every European clinic is good. There's some good ones over there, but definitely. And then, when you go to third world countries, let's say, like India and stuff like that, there's very few experienced surgeons that can do this. There's ones that people have good or a lot of like hype around them, but they are terrible surgeons. Like I hear about complications, like serious complications, like cut nerves and compressed common peroneal nerves that lead to like permanent drop foots. Like people are getting butchered. So, oh man, it jumped back up. Cool. All right, so I think that's most of them. Oh, here we go. There's some more pollen in here. We won't tell. Steve, you're funny. You are funny, my man. Do you know the compound MK677? It's a ghrelin mimetic, which promotes GH and IGF. Wow, EJ. I think you're pretty young. You know all this stuff. Insulin-like growth factor 1 to be secreted from the pituitary gland. If the plates aren't completely fused, do you think there's a chance of growing? Possibly, but I don't know about using that type of stuff. You might as well just talk to an endocrinologist. They can get you on a course of GH, specifically, and they can probably help you more than, trying to come out with your hormonal cocktail yourself, because it's not going to turn out well. I promise you that. They went to school for a reason. So definitely talk to an endocrinologist. You're young. I think you said 16, 17. See if your insurance will cover a visit to the endocrinologist and talk to them. US has the best surgeons, or Europe is just as good. I think that there's if you're talking about like caliber of surgeons, like I think the US has a higher concentration of really experienced surgeons, but then Europe has really good surgeons that are probably just as comparable, like select few. So I could point them out and say, yeah, he's very good. He's very good. He's very good based on patient results and, their experience over the years. India is like more like a trial and error. I think, again, so then as you get to a third world country, then the experience is more dispersed. So it's like there's probably like I'd say like 3 or 4 good surgeons in India that I know of, and 3 of them are probably not doing stature lengthening. So at least 2 of them for sure. So if that's the case, then you should be very careful and probably go to just that one who's gotten some good reviews from other surgeons. Has there been any update on the Precice stride weight bearing nail? So I don't think there has. I think that everybody's kind of just saying that maybe later this year, early next year. So that's kind of what I've heard. I'm not sure. I reached out to Nuvasive before and they didn't give me a response, but I think they've given patient responses, which is kind of funny because I could literally tell you guys everything they want, but but they didn't say anything specifically to me. So what about hand lengthening? Don't do it. Your hands have a lot of little nerves going through there. Not for cosmetic reasons. If you need it, then the surgeon could probably figure out if you need it for other reasons. Okay, so I think I'm just scrolling through here. Oh, fate. I have a 1.25 centimeter leg length discrepancy. So do you think I will ever notice health problems in my life? Well, I'm not sure how old you are or what your activity level is like, but if you haven't noticed symptoms up to this point, then probably not. Like I had, like a pretty big discrepancy, like closer to 2 inches. And I was very active in lifting, and I would do a lot of track and field and like running and stuff like that. So I definitely noticed it. So I had to get it fixed. Or else in fact, my back, I had scoliosis, induced scoliosis. I had, wear and tear on my meniscus. I could go down the list. And in fact, right now, I think over the years, I have a little bit of a knock knee on my right leg and a little bit of a varus on my left. So I don't have perfect alignment, but I'm living with it. I'm just trying to finish up bodybuilding and get out. But so my recovery is based on that. So I think that for a discrepancy patient, you should definitely consider at least going in, checking with a surgeon, say, hey, look, check out my walking gait, check out, my back, and they can give you a good assessment of that. I'm just scrolling through here. All right, cool. I think we got to the end here. All right, Uriel, in your personal experience, do you think that 8 centimeters on the femur and then 5 centimeters on the tibia looks decent on people? I love the content. Yeah, I think that, doing something that kind of maintains your interlimb ratio is going to look fine on most people with decent arm length. I think that a lot of people have long enough arms to be able to handle something like that, but will they go through 2 surgeries? If not, then longer femurs. If they get just 8 on the femurs and they're happy with the height and they can adapt to the biomechanics for things that they enjoy doing, then all more power to them. But like for people like Brett, who we've had on a few weeks ago, he was like, look, I want perfect proportions and I want like good biomechanics. And his recovery is going rapidly because of that. He's already kind of back to like decent squatting and stuff. So in an ideal world, I would say go for quadrilateral lengthening, and I would say go conservative. So yeah, I think that was actually another topic that I might have skipped over here. The first one, yeah, it's kind of like, how much length should you get? I think that patients over lengthen. I really do. I think that for the femurs, I wouldn't personally recommend people. Now you can go for 8 centimeters. Absolutely. Like I said, that's an extreme amount of length. You can do it. And I'm not going to say that you have to stop at 8 either, but I think it's like it's 3.15. It's 8 centimeters. But for ideal recovery, I would say stop, or like for somebody who's a normal person, I think like between 6 and 7 is ideal for the femurs. And I think between 3.5 to 4.5 is ideal for the tibias. I think that stay away from the extreme amounts. It's just, if you get it and you have no like resistance from the the soft tissues and you have no complications, no serious nerve irritations, and you regain your flexibility really, really rapidly, then sure, go for it. But you're in the exception. But like for most patients, they're dealing with 8 to 12 months of stiffness afterwards. I think that they overshot a little bit. I really do. And it also depends on how much muscle you have and how flexible that muscle is. Like, did you make it flexible before surgery and stuff? So there's a lot of factors that play into that, but I think that a lot of patients overlengthen. I think that you're going to be so happy if you can get 2.5 inches of height, and that's height that you can actually use in terms of, functional everyday activity. Like if you can't walk right, and you can't run and get back to lifting and things that you enjoy doing, then you're not going to enjoy your new height. Some people say, I don't care. I'm going to lengthen 10 centimeters of my femurs just so I can be taller. Okay. Well, let's see your crippled self walk down the sidewalk and see how many, people you attract, or how many people look at you like you're Frankenstein. It's just not going to turn out well. So lengthen wisely, in my mind, wisely means conservatively. You're going to be so happy. Like all the patients that I've talked to, they've stopped short of 8. And if they've gotten 8, they worked hard to get that 8 and, get it back to full functionality. So that is my 2 cents on how much length you should get. But yeah, if you're doing 8 plus 5 spread out with like 6 months in between, sure. And you worked really hard at PT and rehab, absolutely go for it. But stature lengthening is a very brutal process, limb lengthening in general. So, but if you're doing it, and I'm talking about the process, but like the recovery is really, really hard if you have stiff tissues every single morning that you're waking up. You want to make sure those tissues are getting better every single day that you're doing efficient stretching and conditioning and muscle strengthening. And I think that, clinics that like have PTs and stuff, they're just, and that's what I'm talking about, these channels that are promoting stuff. They're getting patients back, especially young patients that recover just well enough to do the bare minimum, and then they showcase it really quickly. Let's see how well they're going to be in 12 months. Okay. We're talking 2-year time limit. That's when recovery, like full recovery starts. I think between 2 and 5 years is when I really kind of noticed that my recovery was becoming closer to that 98 percentile. But once it starts to get, if you don't get there within 2 years, are you going to get there at all? And I'm being dead serious. I've talked to a lot of patients, and I don't say everything on here that I read. So. Oh, wow. Some more things popped in here. EJ, you were so funny, man. Yeah. So go to your doctor, go to an orthopedic surgeon and get x-rays done, and we'll find out if your growth plates are closed or not. I can't help you if you're going to grow naturally or not. I don't know. Why do all these complications in these Turkish clinics usually happen to Asian patients? I feel like they get exploited the most. I don't know, Shiloh. I don't know. Oh, my mouse stopped working. These stupid Bluetooth mouses. Let me see. Fate. I am 20 years old and I have a light varus on my left femur. With that, a leg length discrepancy of 1.25 centimeters. Leg length surgery could be a benefit for me because my surgeon will fix at the same time. Yeah. Usually they can do that simultaneously. If they're skilled enough, they can usually do that. Quadrilateral lengthening is interesting. Thanks. Yeah, no, I think that in an ideal world, if you have the resources, time, the money, and you're willing to put in that effort for that long a time, or even split apart surgeries. So I think that's, people are trying to get height, right, with cosmetic limb lengthening, stature lengthening. I think that to do it safely, you should give yourself a nice break in between. And I think that's at least 3 months after you start walking normally. So let's say that you do your femurs first, right? Let's just say that you get to the 6-month mark, you start walking. 7 months, you start to walk normally. Give yourself another 3, then start the tibias. Okay. Now that's if in a perfect world. Does life let that happen? I don't know. I don't know what your life looks like, but I think that for most patients, they're going to be happy with the massive amount of height that they can get. And in terms of the recovery returns, because they're going to recover very, very well by splitting it up like that. Absolutely. I've talked to, I'd say, I don't know, 20 to 25 stature lengthening patients that are quadrilateral stature lengthening patients that have finished, and only about, I don't know, between 5 and 8 of them are like full recovery. And the kid you're going to see tomorrow or whenever I post that video, I think he's pretty close. He doesn't even feel like he's at 100%, but he looks like he's at 100%. I mean, he's wrestling and doing these nimble agility moves on the wrestling mat. I'm like, holy crap. He had external fixators on his tibias, pure external fixators, and he had a internal precise nails in his femurs. So I mean, and he did 5 inches from 5'2" to 5'7" at the same time. It's crazy. Like, I've never heard of anything like this. I call him Patient X, because he's like Weapon X, Logan before he was Wolverine. Oh, this is a good question. Does getting limb lengthening legs or arms make muscles bigger than before, more muscle tissue? Yes, it does. So you do create new tissue, and that tissue is immature, but then when you do resistance training, it will grow and to bigger tissue. So I do believe that limb lengthening does lead to, bigger muscles. It did in my calf. Like, I could train my right calf for the rest of my life, and it doesn't have the potential to grow as big as my left calf. It just will not have it, because there's not as many muscle cells there due to this fiber splitting and hyperplasia that occurred during limb lengthening, the extreme eccentric loading, stretching that happened. And then I went back to resistance training on both. So I have a bigger calf. It's just like, I pray the judges don't dock me points for that, because I'll be pissed. I'm going to save my money so I can start my journey. I'm trying to get 7.61 centimeters. What's up with the 0.61 centimeters on my femurs and 7 centimeters on my tibia, even though I'm 180.34? Now I know you're joking around. You're not real. Is that real? Like, are you really? Oh, you know what? Remember the three categories of patients, prospective patients? You're in the extreme case. You have the 2 decimal places. That's so funny. TR God. I love it. Thank you, Victor, for your honesty. Yeah, no, I'm being dead honest. Like, if you're talking about the Gnail patients, Jano, they can click on right now, like, if they want. I talked to it. So I had a consultation with a Gnail patient. He actually did it with Goucher, and he was very happy. But he only did 3 centimeters. He recovered, and he was back to work. He worked in an office. I think he's like IT. And he was from a different country, but he had a normal walk. Again, that's not that much length, but he said that he's considering more next year. And you can do that. You can keep the sleeper nail and go back and get it done. Now, he said that Goucher had some really brutal protocol, like he was like a drill sergeant in terms of like nutrition, meticulous training, rehab. It's crazy. He said that most patients, it's not for them. And I agree based on what he told me. But the nail itself, based on other clinics that get it, done with the G-nail, I've heard of bent nails. So it's not, like this, this nail that can't be bent. It can be bent. Whether that's from walking with vertical loading, I don't know, or if it's from some sort of, transitional or translational force from like, PT stretching. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not going to speak too much on something I don't know. Arm lengthening, Steve, usually not necessary. But if you do both and you were like very unhappy with your arm length, you can talk to your surgeon and they can kind of help you measure that. But usually you'll see that if you get both done, you'll find that it's not necessary. I would never get arm length. For one, I have long enough arms. Like I think we measured it before. I think it was like 180 centimeters. But I feel like that's something that even if I had short arms, I would just deal with it. Like I can't imagine breaking my arms. Maybe because I've broken my legs only and never my arms. But oh my gosh. I mean, like even if I've broken an arm, but like just going back to like, because lifting, even leg day, like you have to use your arms, right? Like, so I just can't imagine that. Like, it's so, like, think about your arm. I don't know. For me, being a bodybuilder, maybe. Would you talk more about alternative and research more? So it's been kind of quiet, like on that front. Like we know that there's researchers out there. Maybe after I get some more, this new service launched, and I don't know, maybe this summer we'll try to do something like that. There's a lot of hype around that from the patient community. Everybody wants to talk about it. We'll have on, I forgot who it is. Tyler, he wants to come back on. We'll do him like every couple times a year just for fun, but it's kind of hard to say. Like, I don't really know what, so to make a breakthrough in this alternative limb lengthening methods, it's not, like I said, it's not going to completely, at least not right away. It's not going to completely replace limb lengthening with a device, a surgeon. If you're going to need a surgeon, because they're orthopedic surgeons, they know the bones in the body, right? So you're going to need them regardless. So the surgeon's going to be there. Can we replace the device? Yeah, I think that's probably where you would go first. But you got to remember that bone needs stability when you're lengthening it. So even if they can find out a way to, create this longitudinal, which is vertical, like basically in the vertical direction of bone growth, which is like what we do with distraction osteogenesis, you still need some sort of device to kind of clamp or support, stabilize the bone so that it can heal properly, and you don't have a bone that's like all kinds of, like what they call it, malunion. You don't want a malunion. So it's hard to say. So I think that what we would do is replace different aspects of the lengthening process slowly over time, unless we, Elon Musk came out with something tomorrow. But it's hard to say. But I think that there are, ways to do it. It's just who's got the money, the time, and the inspiration to do that. Elon. So guys, go bother Elon, get him over here, and we'll get working on that. All right, this is actually good. So we talked about this earlier. Oh, sorry about that. I must have hit myself off. So we talked about this earlier about getting cosmetic limb lengthening if you're overweight. So I told this patient that messaged me earlier, lose as much weight as possible, but get as strong as possible in your upper body, your shoulders, your triceps, your chest, because you're going to need to kind of get around with the walker and stuff. So strong, jacked upper body, lose as much body fat as possible, and strong core too. It's very, very important. And don't slack on the leg training, but just train a little bit higher reps and do lots of stretching. Steve, 5 inches is amazing, but mobility is a concern. It's my biggest challenge even now, but I'm working on it. Yeah. So that's why I say lengthen conservatively. So it is amazing. 5 inches is amazing, but if that's the case, then I mean, if you're lengthening a limb and you start to see that the beginning signs of a contracture are starting to become present, like your knee, let's say you're doing the femurs and your knee is starting to kind of bend like this, and even though you're extending it, it starts to kind of go back like that. I would start to kind of say, okay, if my physical therapy is no longer, being effective, I should probably start to kind of consider stopping soon. And then in the tibia, if your ankle, I can't do it, I'm not that flexible. But if your ankle is starting to kind of push down, like plantar flex, due to the tension on your gastrocnemius, then I would say that you probably should consider stopping soon too, because you don't want to get to the point where you get to like ballerina foot and you have to kind of work backwards. You want to be you want to be matched up with your flexibility or ahead of the game. You never want to have to kind of catch up, because the muscles don't like playing catch up. They won't play catch up. In fact, you're going to be stiff for up to 2-3 years afterwards. And you're going to have, what does that stiffness lead to? It's going to lead, if you're an athlete, it's going to lead to muscle strains, tendon ruptures, and all kinds of stuff like that. Right. So initially, even when I got back, my walk wasn't perfect so I started walking at the 4-month mark, but I wasn't perfect until about 5.5 months, because I had so much muscle tension on the Achilles tendon and the anchor point where it ties into the calcaneus. So I felt tension there. I think I got like 2 strains early on. I was like, you know what, let me slow down, because if I get a ruptured Achilles, I'm really screwed. So you got to be careful, because the tendons, the ligaments are not as flexible as red tissue, meaning like muscles. So they're white tissue. They're very avascular. They don't have a lot of angiogenic properties, like, blood vessels going in there, feeding them lots of nutrients. So they don't stretch as well as your muscles, and even the fascia is very taut. So you got to be careful with that. I mean, when I was dissecting cadavers, you can see, the muscle, and you can feel it. You can you get a better appreciation for what's really going on during the lengthening process. So my guy Vic, one day I wanted to get femur lengthening, and since I was young, I have slightly hyperextended knees, banana knees. Have you ever heard of a patient with this having success looking for 5 centimeters? Yeah. So I think it was when I interviewed a surgeon last year. I can't remember who it was. They had a patient who had that hyperflexibility, and I think it actually helped them. It actually kind of helped it, because it actually kind of, I mean, you're going to get tight and taut. So I think it actually kind of helped the knee to kind of be more taut. So it wasn't as banana knees. It was more like I don't know, cucumber or whatever kind of fruit. I don't know what I'm saying. All right, Carlos. I saw one of your comments on Dr. Lee's channel just recently. Do you think he's equally as skilled as Dr. Pilley? He's not as experienced. I mean, he hasn't been in the game as long. Can he do a lot of the procedures Dr. Pilley does? Absolutely. I mean, Dr. Pilley was his mentor, so I'm sure that he knows a lot of it. But Pilley, I mean, he's literally like a walking genius at this game. So he's seen it a lot. Yeah, exactly. He's one of Paley's students. You're right. Yep. Cool. So I'm just trying to skim through here. Is there any more? Oh, we're already at 45 minutes. Time goes fast. Okay. Pam the one. Why would I choose the Gnail over the Precice 2.2? I think for one, from me knowing the two different nails and what their capabilities are, I know one is weight bearing, but I think the lengthening mechanism is one. The reversibility is two. The widespread use is three, and just the accuracy and just having to know that you lengthen that amount. I mean, the machine tells you that, and you usually know it by putting the thing on for a certain amount of time and stuff. So versus counting clicks and stuff. So I think that that's my own personal opinion of why I would choose that over that. So how likely is the Precice to break? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not going to talk about nail capacity and stuff here because I don't know. They kind of say one thing and then, they say another thing to the patients. So I'm not really sure. Crashed. Yeah, it's probably that. $10 from Steve Elamont. Pair character laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. Oh, is this I guess this is emoji. Why is my system not showing that? You gave $10 as that donation. Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I don't know why this software is not showing that. But anyway, guys. Thanks, Vic. When I get closer to doing it, I'll schedule a one-on-one with you. Awesome, Steve. I look forward to talking to you one day. And like I said, I just bounce ideas with you, prospective patients. I just help you I kind of go in your head and pick out your thoughts and kind of show it to you and say, hey, this is what you're thinking about. And this is based on who I've talked to. This is what I want you to think about. And it helps you get a better, clearer idea of how to approach this stature lengthening and discrepancy lengthening process. Would weight bearing matter if you're 130? It would matter. Yeah, especially if on one leg, but not as much in terms of standing still. No, nowhere. All right, cool. I think we're good. Yeah, your pleasure, man. I appreciate it. Shiloh, so he's saying, when is the next patient interview on Complication? So actually, we were supposed to have one. Well, I didn't want to say today because he just emailed me, said that he wants to do it. But I don't know. I know we had that one guy, Joseph, who will follow up with, I think he has another meeting in May. So when he gets that done, we'll have him back on. But besides that, I don't know. Patients haven't really when you get a complication, you don't want to kind of go around bragging about, hey, I have a complication, and nobody wants to be known as the guy with the complications. It's hard, but those are the people we have to appreciate the most because they're willing to come forth and kind of make you aware of what's possible with this process so that you can kind of avoid that, right? Or be aware of that when you're going through it yourself. So I think that somebody like Joseph, and then there was another guy, I'll say his name here. I really hope he's out there because he stopped contact completely with me. John, I hope you're out there, man. It's like, who went to a clinic in Turkey, got butchered pretty badly, had to get 5 or 6 corrective surgeries afterwards. Was talking pretty heavily to me regularly in, I think it was like late October, early November, up until like about Thanksgiving. Then he went, radio silent, haven't heard from him since. And he was driving, I think Uber or Lyft for a living. And then, when your legs get taken away, you can't do that. And you don't want to go to your family and start talking. I mean, it puts a heavy toll on you. So it's like, that's why we got to make sure that people get this done safely. This is not a joke at all. I never once promoted the surgery. I just try to showcase information. That's it. So you can have a better understanding of how it works and you can make informed decisions. That's all that Cyborg for Life is about. Yes, we're creating a new service that hopefully will kind of mitigate a lot of those complications and, catch a lot of patients that are falling through the cracks and prevent these serious complications. I mean, like severed sural nerves and, serious muscle contractures that they have to go get quadriceplasties for, and these crazy things. It's ridiculous what's happening out there for people who just want to get a few inches taller. It's bizarre. So that's what we're here for. I love to laugh and joke all the time. I'm that type of person, jovial, but when this surgery comes around, it's like, I get, quite a few complication emails that I wish that people knew more about. So anyway, all right, let's answer like 2 more questions and then we'll roll. Do you notice that short people don't really have short torsos, but it's instead their legs are shorter? I noticed after watching the before and after limb lengthening videos, the proportion is great post-op. Yeah, I think so. I think most people have longer arms. Their arms are like longer than their height or taller than their height. So yeah, I think that usually limb lengthening makes you, and I think there's a study out there that says that longer legs actually is more attractive, more appealing. So, yep. Oh, who am I clicking on here? Oh, Victor, do you know anyone that got combined femur tibial lengthening where both bones are lengthened 3 weeks apart? Yeah, I know a lot of them. Like I said, those patients usually lengthen less than the ones who do it with a bigger gap in between. So, but you can do it. You can still do it. So, thank you, Victor, for not sleazy advertising. I've been researching for a few years now. FYI. To all you newbies, be careful. Yeah, be careful, man. It's like, see, I have to like, if I were in you guys' shoes, I would be a little nervous. I'm glad that Cyborg for Life and there's other resources out there now, but like, that's why I created this. I created a resource that I wish I had back then. And, luckily I just had to get, I had, the International Center for Limb Lengthening here in Baltimore, back before I went to school and stuff like that. But like, it was here. This is a very, very good clinic. But, if I was just Googling online and I was saying limb lengthening, where to get it done, the ones that get hit the most or running ads the most are going to pop up. And sometimes those aren't the ones that are the most experienced, and people can go there, get it done, and they don't know any better. They think that a surgeon is a surgeon for a price and that's it. But it's not with this procedure. It's not how it works. It's like, you got to pick somebody who's very skilled. I wish it was as simple as somebody who can cut your hair. Like, you can find 1,000 people in the world who can do a really good haircut. Apparently not the barber that I had recently. My barber wasn't there, but you get what I'm saying. There's a lot of people who can do like something like that, and you won't care as much because hair grows back. It's like, it's not going to impact your health. But if you get your bones butchered or your nerves messed up or your muscles contracted, it's like, you're going to live with that. So it's very important that you pick safely, surgeon safety, clinic safety. Okay. And then physical therapy, like the whole package is great, but like, obviously, if you're forced to pick something, not the best or whatever like that, then you have to make sure you're bootstrapping all the elements together, and you say, okay, I did my research and I know that this is the best possible surgeon that I can afford. They have good patient results, and I know that I'll be in good hands. Physical therapy, nutrition, like all the aspects. Okay. And then community support. That's why I've been creating a lot of stuff like the Discord. We're going to have the new membership. I think the forums back, you have the Facebook groups. Like, you need to have community support. Like, reach out to me. Obviously, I'm super busy as it is now, but like, feel free. I'm always available. It might take me a few days to answer emails, but I will do it. And you're not alone. You're not alone. That's what Cyborg for Life is all about, is to help limb lengthening patients. That's it. So, all right, I've been ranting long enough. So, Vic, your Death Star deltoids is all I look at. You know what? Actually, I caught a stomach bug last week and I lost like 6 pounds. So I'm like flat as a pancake right now. So all my muscles are flat. So I'm not going to go around flexing. All right, cool. I think we're good. But some people in the forum could be a little dramatic. Yeah. I actually heard that. Somebody emailed me saying that the forum, people said something on the forum, and I was like, what? They actually said that? So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. I'll go on the forum. There's just patients talking. And some of them are just giving you anecdotal experiences. They're just writing about what happened to them. So don't take it as a fact that that's what's going to happen to you. It's not necessarily the case, especially if you go to a different clinic with different physical therapy and different mindset. All these different factors play in. So will Michael be back on your channel soon? Yes, he is. So we're going to be doing so yeah, let's kind of wrap up here. So what are we doing? I think either next week or the week after, maybe the week, I don't know. Within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing a big stature lengthening roundtable. We're going to have JP back, Michael back, probably Rial back. We're going to have hopefully Brett. We're going to get as many of them to get on, like kind of like we did last time. I'll be more prepared this time. We'll have topics that we can talk about. We'll try to do it more engaging with you guys. Maybe you guys can even join as a participant and even vocally say your questions. I think it'll be cool to kind of have more engagement from the community. Don't be scared. Like, you can tell I'm not going to bite, except for the lady's head that I bit off in the Facebook group. She basically, oh man, I don't even want to say it. But anyway, yeah, so we're pretty much done. Never give a Vic. You're helping a lot of people. Thank you. See you, Vic. See you, Ben. All right, guys. So yeah, that's what's happening. I'm not sure what's going to happen next week. We'll figure it out. But anyway, until next time, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life signing out. See you guys. Peace.